From Marmo Studio, here's Jim Brodden.
We're at Marmo Studios and we're talking to Joe Roark. And Joe, tell me about what you've got here during Art Walk.
Sure. We have gemstone pendants that I create from, I take gemstones in the rough, cut them with a diamond blade saw, then polish them for 6 to 8 weeks. Then I mount them or wire wrap them for pendant necklaces. 6 years ago, we retired on a Thursday, and on a Friday morning, we left in our 45-foot motorhome to travel the country.
Yeah?
And every time we would get to a state, we would hunt for rocks and stones from riverbeds and on our walks. And I would put them in the back of the car and we towed behind the motorhome. And we began wintering in the Rio Grande Valley in Texas.
Right.
Bought a lapidary saw and started cutting stones during COVID, really.
Yeah.
And started polishing them with rock tumblers. I have several different rock tumblers now. And started wire wrapping and giving them to all our RV friends throughout the country.
Right. And it's quite a community.
And people said that they liked them, they looked good, and they told me I should start an Etsy account. So 2 years ago, I started an Etsy account, and we started trying to sell online, but that really,
Didn't work?
It's just, it's a lot of effort for very little reward, I guess you might say. Etsy takes a big slice out of what you sell them for, plus mailing costs and everything.
That was not offset by the additional business that you might see from.
No. I was selling probably 2 or 3 stones a month, but it just not. So I was developing an inventory because I just couldn't stop making them.
So the manufacturing was no problem.
So you have to start with 6 weeks. It takes 6 to 8 weeks to finish them.
Yeah.
And then you have to see each particular stone and how it might look on a necklace. And my initial wire wrapping that I started and that I had given to all our friends really was not my best work, and at least so I improved as time went on.
It was inadvertent prototypes. So they got the beta version.
They got exactly. My wife is my chief critic. She cherry picks every stone that I wrap or polish and claims that for her own little set of. But she doesn't wear them as much as I do. But she's still hanging on to them. But that's just the way it is.
She does your quality assurance.
Yeah.
You've got all kinds of shapes and sizes. How do you determine what size you're going to do? And do you reconfigure them, or is that the way tell me how the process works.
I called our so-called enterprise Rocks Naturally, and our website is rocksnaturally.com.
Right.
And the reason I called it Rocks Naturally is because a lot of people that do laboratory work, they have wheels and they shape their stones to make ovals or teardrops or some particular shape. I wanted my stones to be natural. So when I would cut the stone, I would try to cut to get the best color quality, but whatever that ended up, that's the shape that it was going to be. After I got done tumbling it, took off all the sharp edges, all I wanted it to do is look natural, but shine. And I think I've achieved that. I've gotten pretty good at it.
Yes. So the one you've got on right now is a unique shape. What is that, 1/4 of an inch to 1/8 of an inch thick or so?
Yeah, it's slightly less than 1/4 inch, but it was 1/4 inch when I cut it. And you lose about 30% of the stone through the polishing process.
Now, when you cut it, is this like is it like a piece of wood almost? Is that a linear piece that you slice an end off it, like a slice of bread?
Exactly. Call it a slab. You cut them into what they call slabs, 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch thick. And from there, you can put them in a tumbler and again, it takes 5 different grit sizes. You start off with a 60 to 90 mesh silica carbide. Then you go to 220 mesh silica carbide, 500, And after 500, then you start to get into aluminum oxide, 1,000,
Yeah.
and then 2,500.
Is that still aluminum oxide then?
Yes.
Well, ask this question then. Do you have to, is each tumbler dedicated to that particular grit, or can you change out the grit in the tumbler?
What happens is it takes between 7 and 10 days per grit size. So you tumble it for that many days. You take it out and you wash every stone. You make sure that you get every piece of grit. That's because one piece of coarse grit will ruin the next batch. Then you take those stones from a 60, 90 mesh grit, clean them off completely, and put them back in the tumbler, and then add the 220 grit, and it's all done in water, so it's a slurry.
Yes.
When it's done, it's the water, between the water and the grit is what makes the rock shine. So the coarse grit takes all the roughs, edges, and the burrs, and the outside.
Yeah, just to smooth it out a little bit.
Correct.
Takes the rough edges.
And then every grit after that takes the scratches that the previous one, put in the stone, so that when you're done, you end up with a mirror finish.
That's incredible. So you also have to be very careful with the tumbler to make sure there's not a bit of another grit size in there then.
Correct. Exactly.
Wow. I'm just sitting here stunned at the duration of the process. And then I didn't have a chance to see what kind of price point these have. What fully finished like that, and with the wire wrap and with the lanyard and everything that goes with it, what are you talking about range-wise?
The highest price stone that I have is $40, and my lowest price is $15. But I typically have a sale that if you buy 2 stones, you get 1 free.
Wow.
So you can average down, so to speak. But for the most part, I sell stones for between 20 and 25.
Yeah.
And the way I price them out is the type of stone it is. The more common the stone, the lower the price, and the type of wire wrapping. If I just mount it with a pinch bail, it's going to go for a lower price than if I do intricate wire wrapping.
I was going to ask what the variety of stones that you use. You're in the semi-precious range on the stones mostly?
Yes.
Are some of the stones much harder, where they take a lot more, much harder to get them polished down?
Yeah, typically the stones that I work with have on the moth scale about 7 to 7.5. Diamond is 10.
Okay.
So that's...
But some of those, that means those stones are pretty hard.
Yeah, exactly.
No wonder it takes so many steps then to get them to a polish.
It's just starting to work with turquoise now.
Yeah.
But turquoise is a very soft and porous stone.
Yeah.
So it's between 4 and 6 on that same scale. So it's very easy to break, and I haven't quite conquered that stone yet.
So do you start with a more fine mix or can you use the coarse tumbler material on it, or do you have to start with a finer?
I still haven't graduated.
To be determined.
Exactly.
I've had a great time talking with you. So you made this decision to go into the creative side of things after another career.
My original career was I made cement.
Okay.
So I made cement all over the country. I even went overseas for a year. And I probably in my lifetime have crushed 100 million tons of limestone to make cement. And the rocks have always
I was just going to say,
fascinated. And that's why I started picking up souvenir rocks throughout the country as we traveled in the RV. But as we collected these rocks, I didn't know what to do with them, because we have a limited space. We can carry a limited amount of things in an RV. And so it was...
You don't have to tow a trailer full of rock. But from the cement business, anything you would advise to people who are wrapping up a career and going into the creative side of things?
My wife couldn't believe that I had the talent to do this. She just still is amazed that I could do this. And I had no training in this at all. I just have I guess I have an eye for it. I don't know, but
it's an eye and a part of your brain.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know my colors real well or anything, but it's still, I can look at a stone and say, it looks better in this direction than that direction, and to wire wrap it a certain way. It just, I do it, and it's done. I'm pretty proud of it, really. Proud of it.
I think the task of art is assembling ingredients in a pleasant manner.
Yeah, and I enjoy it. It's relaxing. I spend to cut rocks. It takes me almost an entire day to fill up one tumbler cutting rocks all day long on a saw with water, and it's quite an effort.
So thanks a lot for talking to us, by the way. It's been a delight. We've been talking to Joe Roark. His website is rocksnaturally.com. He's showing here at Marmo this art walk, November 25th, and we'll put his contact information on this podcast as well. Joe, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, sir.
From Marmo Studio, you've been listening to Jim Bratton. This is Sierra Sakol.